Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would tackle that awkward little rust repair in the corner near the battery tray. A few little holes appeared and I started this morning and I thought, you know, get the camera rolling and show you what we got involved and how I'm going to approach it, because it really is in an awkward position. So let me get you in there pronto and let's see what's going on. As you can see, I've started to clean up around the area and a few more holes have appeared, and you can see all that pitted metal. Now you see this valley, see all that surface rust there? That started to reveal a few other little pitted areas, and basically, as you know, this is an area where water runs down and hopefully down to this final drain hole down here. But obviously over the years this gets clogged and moisture works its way in behind that seam sealer and starts to show itself in the form of rust holes right in this valley. So to avoid this, obviously make sure you keep this area nice and clean and dry, and make sure this lower drain hole is really kept clean. So now we're faced with a tricky little repair here. What I'm doing, I can't get my wire wheel attachment right in close to the corner, and I want to remove all of this seam sealer here to reveal any other pit damage. Now, first thing, this may change as we go along with this repair, but first things first, I think I'm going to obviously patch in this area here. Okay, now there's a lap joint there, right there. Now, what I might have to do is forgo my... I really want to try and keep everything as close to factory as possible. Because of the nature of this repair, it's going to be very tricky. Obviously, ideal world is to be able to access this on the other side. Now, this is in an incredibly cramped area, and there's a big box unit under here. Really no option to get in under the other side. So what I might do, I'm thinking, is cut this out here and use this lip here and weld along this lip here, and that foregoes this little step here, but I don't think you guys will blame me for that. But anyway, and as we reveal more damage along here, what I'm thinking, we might be able to spot weld these holes up. I don't know yet. I may try and get a patch in here as well, because as you know, this pitted metal can be very tricky to weld to because it's kind of borderline. It's turned black because I've arrested it with some rust treatment to eliminate the rust continuing on. So this is going to be kind of a fluid project, see how we go. I'm not going to film every single stage. I will as I'm going, because it's tricky with the camera, but I'll just keep you informed of all the different things I'm going to be trying to do with this. So first things first, get this as clean as a whistle, clean as I can, to identify the damage we've got to deal with. Okay, so we've cleaned it up as best as I can get in all manner of different tools there. I used a powered pneumatic scraper to kind of get right down into that valley as close as I can. What I've noticed here, as you can see the valley, as the water would come down here, you see, it would come down to this point right here and then supposedly run down here to this drain hole. But the thing is, this platform here is relatively flat. It's even got a slight gradient towards the car, and I would have expected them to have put a drain hole right there. I may, because this comes out right in this point here and allows water to escape. So I'm half thinking I might make a drain hole right there, because there isn't one, and that's a perfect collection point for moisture right there before it carries on down to the bottom. So anyway, that's just a thought. I cut a cardboard patch. This is going to be done in a couple of stages, so I think that one would be the most logical first. We're getting very close to this body shape right here. So, and like I say, I think I'm just going to level weld this onto this lip here and try and just make it decent looking. But there's the cardboard patch, and then just do kind of like a series of bead welds along here, because this is lapped onto the underside of the metal and there's no way I can get in there. So that's all inside the car, and I'm not not tearing it all out just for this little patch, and I'll make that look good. So I think you get a metal one of those. Okay, so I cut that paper patch and I made a little metal patch. So if you're doing any of this, get yourself a guillotine. They're not particularly expensive, but they're great for when you want to cut dead straight lines instead of messing around with tin snips and all that, because they tend to bind up on larger panels and crease and everything. But a guillotine gives you nice straight cuts, but also you can see what an odd shape this is. So it's curved that way, and then it's got a kind of a twist in it, and then it curves down. I had to just literally, I'm just playing with it with my fingers and a little tapping on my with my little hammer and a piece of curved wood just to get these curves. And so it's kind of an odd twisty shape. So that lays pretty flat in there now. Let me show you. As I say, I'm going to break this patch into a couple of pieces. See, now that lays quite nice here. It's a little lifted here. I'll bend that in just a little bit more, but that sits in there quite nice. I'll push that edge down just a smidge, and that one, and we'll get that in there. I'm going to mark that out, do some rough cuts, and we'll get that welded in. And hopefully this is going to be the tricky area. I'm going to just turn the power down a little bit in this area just to get a good bite. You know, this is obviously not like a major structural panel or anything. This is just more aesthetics really, and to get rid of that rust. Let's get that guy bent in a little better, and then we'll start cutting in and welding it. What I've done here is just sort of cut an exploratory hole here, just in the middle, and I've stuck my finger in, and I'm just checking for any obstructions behind there, any wires, anything that I don't want to damage. And all I'm finding, there is a tube right there which I'm going to go underneath and relocate. I think it's yeah, there's a wire running right down here, so it just shows you just got to be extra careful. So I'm going to get under there and see if I can tie that out of the way. It's, like I say, very tricky. I'm going to have to get off my back and see what I can see. I'll probably shine a flashlight this side to guide me, but that's why that's holes like that. Alright, what it turned out to be was these wires. They're attached to a little zip tie here, and this wire is the antenna going out the side bung here. But these three wires shoot up right behind that patch. So what I'm going to do is break these zip ties open and then move them off to the side. So make sure nothing. And this is all the, you know, the venting system that is in the way. I won't you know, need to move this at all because it's too far in the car, but I want to make sure that these wires aren't damaged. So there's the patch all cut, ready to weld in. We got these edges nicely done. That one I'm going to weld to this flange, I think, and just feather it in and make it look good, basically, because I'm not going to deal with taking this underneath this because it's unnecessary really. This end I'm not going to bother welding up at the moment because this may end up getting cut back into this secondary patch. I will see as I go, but I'm going to get this welded in along here. This is going to be the tricky area here, just because that metal is a little pitted there. So I'm going to turn the power right down and see if we can get some quick fast hacks on there. Everything's moved away at the back. I pulled back some of the sound deadening that's underneath there, just kind of rolled it back with my finger, and let's see how we get on. Again, I'm probably not going to film the welding because it's so awkward, but I'll get back to you. Oh, and I've got these magnets, just makes it easier to hold, and it magnetizes the patch into the position. So there you go. Right, so I'm part way through right now. I put this little self-tapping screw in here so I can get a pair of pliers on and then be able to manipulate the patch any which way I want, because it's kind of tricky to be able to get these level. And so I've sealed up here for the most part. I'm just working my way around here, and here is where I'll probably connect in another patch here anyway, so I'm not sure I'll even weld it here until the new patch is across, maybe down to about here I'd say, and then weld this guy up here pretty easy. So that's why I put the screw in. And obviously you can weld that hole closed when you're done. Right, that's that welded in. A little tricky to get in welded there and to flow it out nice, but main thing is for strength, you know, so that might not look the prettiest all finished off there, but once that gets a coat of seam sealer all down this valley, that gets hidden. Same here. These I will feather in a little nicer because this is bodywork area here, but these two areas should be good. Now I've just got this, see, final patch there to go in, and this will cut into my new patch, and then we're good to go. A little tricky, but we're slowly getting there. Right, there's the second patch, all magnetised in there. Has a little crease down here, so it kind of comes along and then kicks this way. So I was able to do that just with a hammer. As I say, I can weld up that little hole where I had the bolt. So let's get this tacked in and all feathered in, and then we're pretty much done. And then I will coat this again with some rust encapsulator to hold it over before I get this seam sealed and epoxy primered. We'll probably do epoxy primer over the rust encapsulator, then seam seal, and then the body colour, and that's obviously a long ways away, but this is that repair pretty much done. I moved the wires, they were over here, I moved them back over kind of to this region with some zip ties, making darn sure I don't break any wires or vacuum lines, you know, for the doors. Okay, well, there you go. It's all rust encapsulated. Don't look the best in the corner here. It's very tricky to get a nice smooth, so it looks a little bit like a bunch of snot here, but I'm sure you'll excuse me because it's very difficult to clean that up. And in actual fact, it really doesn't matter anyway, because I would say about 3/4 of an inch, oops, I've got some of that on me, about 3/4 of an inch all the way on both sides, all the way down this channel gets seam sealer, and you'll never see those beads again. The rest of it, as you can see, I tried to tidy up more neat across the bit where you will see that mostly. I mean, it'll be so tucked with wires and all that good stuff anyway. So that's all rock solid now, all the rust holes gone and treated, and yeah, that was a pretty tricky little area. But yeah, we got it done. So we got that done. We've got the lower one done here now. And all we've got to do over here, I showed you some time ago, I think, there's a little hole here, which will be a doddle because got really good access both sides. That'll be a right easy one, that. So that's just, again, moisture trapped. All of this area is really good. So it's just that hole there. Then we move on to the biggie. The putting the whole front valance back on, which main priority is alignment. Obviously we're going to have a lot of reference points, from fenders to the frame that holds the fan, to the trunk, to the other fender, and making sure several times, you know, absolutely make sure everything's aligned properly before any welding's done. So there'll be a lot of clamping and moving and cutting and all that good stuff, and that will take obviously some time. Along with that, I'm going to get rid of this horrible double patch that some Wally's put in. I want to get rid of that, and also another double patch where he slapped over some metal here, because this will get replaced, and then obviously my new flange on, and then make all this. This looks horrendous right now, I know, but it will actually, it all lines up nice, and from the donor car. So once we get that back on, we'll strip all this down, clean it all up, get it all in epoxy primer, and then that's pretty much the engine bay ready for paint. And then we can move on to making our body cart to lift the car, spin it, and then start working on the welding on the other side of the car. Well, I'm holding the camera right now because I forgot the base to the tripod. So anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It took a couple of 3 hours or so to get that start to finish. Main thing is just the location. It was a real pain, and I wanted to make triple sure that there was no damage to any wires in the back, and making more work for us. So and I promise in the next video I will get to doing that little safety lock system for the front subframe of the 109 and 108 and any other car designed similar to these. So thanks again guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye.